world than his Richmond-born boyfriend. "Mountains or beach?" Evan asked, as Seth got behind the wheel. They had paid the campground manager and said their goodbyes earlier in the morning, and now Seth maneuvered the truck out of the spot that had been their home for the past 3 months. "Huh? Where would you want to live?" Evan said. "Mountains or beach? Maybe somewhere we could get to both easily?" Seth turned onto the main road. Before he'd met Evan, Seth hadn't thought of what happened after. He hadn't really expected to survive his self-appointed mission, hoping that he could destroy the dark warlocks and end their cycle of ritual killings. His previous boyfriend had dumped him when tragedy befell Seth's family, and Seth had briefly come under scrutiny by the cops. The police cleared Seth, but by that time, Ryan was long gone. "That could be nice," Evan agreed. He turned toward Seth as much as his seatbelt would permit, and unzipped his coat as the truck's powerful heater blasted warm air. "I haven't been to the beach in a long time, and it's crazy given why we're going to Boone, but I'm actually looking forward to being in the mountains." "Then let's plan to stay for a week or so afterward," Seth said, "assuming the cops aren't on our tail." "I'd like that." Evan burrowed into his puffy parka, looking sleepy and so very fuckable. Seth reached over and gave Evan's thigh a squeeze. "As soon as I find a drive-thru that's open, I'll get us more coffee," he promised. They had filled travel mugs that morning in the RV, but Seth knew it would take more than one dose of Java to wake him up, especially since they were getting an early start on a long drive. "US or Europe?" Seth asked, picking up the conversation thread. "Places you'd like to visit?" Evan replied, sipping from his mug. "Both? Only not Oklahoma. Been there, done that." His family had tried to flee bad luck, only for Evan to unknowingly head right back into the danger zone and return to Richmond, where his would-be killer awaited. "I want to go to Italy and eat all the food, and England because I've read so many books set there, but I've also never seen the Grand Canyon or the Pacific Ocean or the Rockies." Seth grinned. "We have a house on wheels. It won't get us to Europe, but we can go anywhere you want to go in the lower 48 and Canada." Evan put his mug in the cup holder, then reached out and took Seth's hand. "I'd like that. I'll start a bucket list." They both left unsaid how much danger lay between now and then, with 10 more witch disciples left to kill, including the one who had murdered Seth's brother Jesse and started his plan for vengeance. But the warlock who had preyed on Evan's family was destroyed, as well as the one based in Pittsburgh. And, if their luck held, Seth hoped they'd handle the Dark Witch in Boone before he had the chance to go after his next sacrifice. "Have you ever been to North Carolina before?" Seth asked. Evan shook his head. "You?" "Nope. But Milo and Toby have a favorite place to rent a cabin there. They've always talked about how much they love the area, how pretty it is. I'm really glad you're going to have a chance to meet them," Seth replied. Milo and Toby were older hunters, and they had taken Seth in when he'd been homeless, angry, and hell-bent on revenge against an enemy he only barely understood. They had taught him about fighting the supernatural and trained him, changing his quest from a suicide mission to one he had a prayer of surviving. And somehow along the way, they had become family. "I'm excited about getting to spend time with them," Evan said. His expression sobered. "I hope they like me." Seth gave his hand a squeeze. "You're hardly a stranger. You've spoken with them on the phone and on video calls. Trust me, they will love you. They know I'll be more careful now that you're in the picture." Careful for Evan and for himself. Hunting didn't usually make for a long life, but Toby and Milo proved that a happy ending was possible. Now that Seth had found Evan, he wanted that same future desperately, enough to make him both fearless and more cautious. "I know, but it's like meeting the family," Evan replied, dropping his voice. "My mom and dad would have loved you," Seth said. "They were very chill about everything except when I went into the army. They were worried about me, and they had reason to be." He smiled, remembering. Mom